Hey there everyone, it's the Kiwi. How you all doing? Today I've got the honor and also the privilege of being over at Maureen and Jerry Magnuson's hot rod facility. This is Jerry Magnuson's, what I would call his garage mahal. But we have the privilege today of being able to walk around, film, and talk in detail about Jerry Magnuson's Track Master Roadsters. One of the most amazing things about what we're going to be doing today is we actually have the opportunity to film two vehicles side by side. They're basically both exactly the same vehicles. One is a finished vehicle and the other one is obviously one in the raw. Primarily we'll be talking a lot about the one in the raw because we'll be able to get into great detail about what was done on this vehicle and how they were built. The finished one, or the finished version over here, is an absolute work of art also, but you just don't get to see the detail that goes into these things under the paint and under the leather interior and everything like that. All that stuff hides the amount of work, time, energy, effort, everything that goes into building one of these machines. In 2014, oh gosh, it was most probably around September of 2014, I had the pleasure of just being able to talk with Jerry over at the shop here about these roadsters and his background as an IndyCar mechanic, as an IndyCar engineer. It was really a very, very special time because it was just before he passed away, and I consider myself very, very privileged to have been able to spend some time with Jerry talking about these vehicles in such great detail. So what we'll be doing is his shop manager, Daniel, and I will be talking about these vehicles in greater detail. So I hope that I do a decent enough job to actually represent what Jerry and his crew put into these vehicles. So let's go over and meet Daniel. Alrighty, I'm actually following Daniel over. This is a pretty amazing piece right here. This is old world craftsmanship, workmanship, everything. Daniel's wheeling out the actual wooden buck that the body was built around, and you worked on this, correct?
Yeah, this was a 3-month process building the body buck as well as the nose that we see on the counter over there.
Okay, this is, just so you can see, this is the nose. This is the old school way of actually doing legitimate fabrication work or bodybuilding. I mean, this is how they used to build the old Ferrari bodies, Aston Martin bodies, everything. They would actually build a buck like this. You can see the hardened steel edges, so you can actually shape the mill around.
This is more of an unusual buck in the fact that it was removable panels that we could actually fabricate the panels around the buck piece itself. Traditional buck is just as a measurement device.
Okay.
You would fit up the metal pieces to see if they were close, take them back to the English wheel or planching hammer, fabricate them properly, put them back on the buck for fit, and then assemble them together. So we actually took the buck one step further. We actually made it a usable piece, so we could actually form sections in here with the hard edge, so we could actually bend metal over top, weld against it, tack weld it.
Yeah, you can
very complex place.
See the hot spots where tack welding went on.
Yeah, this is a very complex surface right in here where you have compound
yes,
complex
it
curves.
is. Yes.
And we wanted to retain some of the integrity of the 1923 Ford Track Roadster look with the front firewall of a 23 T-bucket. So we actually modified sections, made them a little bit thicker, and then just sort of conformed the shape into each other. But we wanted 2 working doors, so that's why we have a separate door that on the driver's side was removable. We actually chamfered this so we could actually get a nice line going up into the top. And the individual panels were made by Bobby Walden in Pomona.
Oh, okay.
And he gave them back to us, loose panels that we actually fitted together and welded. So it was a fitment issue when we got them back in our shop.
Amazing. It's not very often you see something like this, truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, this, yeah, to me, personally, being a fabricator and originally starting out as basically a metal former, it's, you know, I just about get off on this here more than anything else.
It's an art form in
yeah,
itself.
Yeah.
But when we started working on the car,
and this is the actual tail section under here.
Yeah, this is the turtle. And the great thing about this was we basically just took the top shape and we flipped it over. So we have a mirror image on the bottom, same radius, a little bit more as far as the shape for the cutout for the axle.
Yep.
But we did all the measurements on the car on the floor, which was amazing. We actually laid out some Sharpie lines, and Jerry would sit on an egg crate on the floor.
That's how you did it back in the day.
Imagine exactly what the spatial relationships are for sitting in the car.
I actually remember coming over here and actually seeing this vehicle laid out like this, and my original personal opinion was I was actually rather shocked by the fact that Jerry actually was tinkering around with one, a fiberglass bark, and then 2, a Ford V8, because Jerry just...
That was not his MO.
Yeah, Ford was not his _1 deal. Now, you were saying that this is where you came in on the project, correct?
Yeah,
Daniel?
This is in fact in the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. Jerry said, "Come on over. I've got a small project for you. I want to visualize and actually create this Track Roadster." And he showed me this fiberglass tub. It's a 23.
Now you've actually got another. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem.
Right, you got another picture here.
That was several weeks down the road where we took the original tub. I've modified it, lengthened it, pied out the back section so it's wider in the back, so it allows you to sit deeper in the car, and just reinforced it a little bit, trying to get a transition between the puffed out side of the cowl and the original shape of the 23 cowl. Blending that in. Again, this is just surfboard foam with a plywood backing.
But that's the visualization process hard at work there, because it goes from that to this. So let's roll on over here, mate. Now, the one thing that blew me away, and it really does blow me away, is when you look at the front of this vehicle. Okay, I didn't actually realize that everything, when I said earlier on that everything on these vehicles is actually engineered, designed, and literally built in-house.
Yeah, there are very few off-the-shelf parts. I mean, the one thing we have is a sprint car spindle from Sander, and that was modified as well. So, you know, Jerry would take an original part and just change it per his specifications. Yeah,
but like this particular steering rod here, that's a in-house design and built part, as with these pieces here. The whole beam axle.
The axle is actually a billet aluminum piece that we machined.
Oh, wow.
In a 2-stage process, so it went from 250 pounds down to an 8-pound axle. And it looks forged because you have a little bit of a peak here on the top. People think, oh, is that a forged axle? But no, it is billet. Behind it is a composite spring right in here. That's actually the back spring for a Corvette.
Oh, really?
And what we've done is shave the front and back sides of it to get the right spring rate. But total unsprung weight for the vehicle is 400 pounds.
Holy heck, that's insanely light.
Yeah, it's really light, so guaranteed to keep the wheels on the ground. The brake rotor and the brake caliper mounts were all hand-drawn by Jerry, given to us, made into wood models.
Now, another really amazing part, now I don't know if anybody can see in there, but you can see the actual Track Master steering box. Does the steering
Let's
wheel
take
come
the,
out?
yeah, let's take the steering wheel out. Just pull on that collar. There you go.
Alrighty. So yeah, there you go. There's the actual Track Master steering box.
Schroeder wasn't making a 24-to-1 ratio system for us. So in fact, they're not making road-going steering boxes. So we decided to do our own, and that spun off into a small industry.
Yeah, because
for
this
steering systems.
Yeah, because this is, as you was talking about. Here's some rapid prototype. Here's a rapid prototype part here of that steering box. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That, we wanted again to prove the concept, so we actually got internals. We set it up with our own extension for the output shaft, so we're able to get variable output lengths from 8.5 to 13 inches for drag racers. It's a nice system because you can actually go from a 16:1 ratio, or 16:1 and a larger one, to the 24-to-1 ratio very quickly, and we can swap them out for the driving, desired driving preferences that customers have.
Now, here's a little sales pitch. You guys are selling these, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. So
Internationally.
If anybody wants, quite frankly, one of the most beautiful steering boxes that I've actually ever seen for a Roadster or any specific, doesn't have to be for a Roadster, it can be any specific application.
Yeah, we've actually done some installs in rat rods, Model Ts, Model As, 32s, Pinky's garage in, Hot Rods in Colorado has been buying majority of these units for his customers' builds. Hollywood Hot Rods has 3 of them right now that
Very
they're
cool.
using. It's a relatively flexible system, so people like it.
Yeah, and as you can see, it was designed and engineered. I mean, this is how Jerry did stuff. He would just go.
Oh yeah.
Make
sure he got it right.
Yeah, he would go that extra mile.
Considering even the framework, this is a cutaway, a section of what the frame of this track roadster looks like. He wanted it boxed, but at the same time, he wanted to have a nice curved radius along the bottom of it. And that would tie into the floor, which actually made this more of a monocoque design. And that was his whole theory, was about sitting low in the car, on the frame, bottom of the frame, rather than up above it.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize about this vehicle. We'll actually, we'll take the silver car here soon and we'll put it on the lift, so people can actually see that it actually is a monocoque, correct? The trans tunnel is actually part of the actual structural member of this vehicle, correct?
Exactly. All the load is coming through the back wall into this triangular section that's actually a structural piece that goes into the tunnel. The only cutaway is this carbon fiber cover right now for the transmission, but that links up with the front firewall and it creates a nice rigid structure.
Alrighty, we had a unanimous decision here between Daniel, Scott Lacey, and myself that will put the red car on the lift. So Scott's actually going to drive it, from what I can gather. So this is literally where your butt sits, right here.
Yeah, that's actually the seat pad adjustment system. So you can actually move the seat forward and aft 2 or 3 inches.
Okay.
For depending on size of where we're going to be customizing these things. Since we only built the 2, we left it in the configuration Jerry was using when he was driving this car around.
Okay. But you can definitely see just how tight everything is. I mean, it's incredible. It really, really is.
So you actually can see in here the flywheel. We actually used an 11-inch flywheel with a 9-inch double disc clutch, because if you had to use anything larger, it would be hanging down below.
Yeah, drop too low.
So we wanted to actually create our own bell housing, and this little port allows us to see what's going on in there with this developmental center force
clutch
system.
So then you can see your coil packs mounted very, very cleanly up in there.
Yeah.
Both sides. But you can also see the whole, how everything's built in. You got the whole frame here that comes all the way down, obviously.
Yeah, all the way around.
To the rear of the vehicle here.
Up into here and then around the back as well, holding the back.
Oh, and this, okay, it's got an integrated rear sway bar also.
Oh yeah.
In there.
It's basically an inverted 4-bar system, so you actually can adjust it for slalom or autocrossing. That was one of our main goals with this car. Unfortunately, Jerry passed away before that could be finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had this car set up in multiple configurations when we were developing it.
Yeah, I bet. Being as light as it is, with the amount of power that it's got, she will be pretty damn fast. Yeah, it's just, I mean, honestly.
We had a lot of fun in the, you know, just getting this proper spacing inside here for the quick change rear end and changing the gears in that as well.
Now, interesting point that you brought up the other day when I was over here is even this center knockoff wheel.
Yeah.
This is
our own design as well.
This is an in-house deal too, correct?
Yeah, we wanted to do something with the Hallebrand heritage. So we took an original smoothie, modified it for this application, made them wood mold, and actually had them cast, machined, welded up by Mike Curtis down in Orange County, and he made 3 sets for us.
So there you go, people. You can actually see the actual rear of the rim. These little ribs here, they're actually strengthening ribs to add a little bit of rigidity to the actual rim. See where, yeah, it's amazing. Just, I mean, it really truly is. It's like, this is the epitome of hot rodding right here, because everything is just so clean.
Yeah, everything.
I mean,
is all this structure underneath the axle. We had to do these multiple times in wood to get the geometry just right, and then once that was finished, scanning it, getting the panels made and water jet cut so we can actually weld the thing up to perform functionally.
You can see this is the integrated sway bar here along the front, buried into the actual frame itself, and then the actual spring mount up the front there.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea of seeing how this works.
Yeah, I was looking at the roller
bearings actually rolls along that.
These are actually the batteries. These 2 little boxes here in the back end, this is where the batteries are, correct?
Correct. And we just have 2 for redundancy. When you have a high-powered motor like this and you're starting it at a car show multiple times, you want to have at least 4 or 5 times when it can start properly and not have to drain the battery as much.
Yep. This is, what were you saying, Daniel?
This is the back of the turtle of the back of the car, and just this integration into the frame, you can see the part lines or the shut lines.
Yeah.
Everything was thought out as far as the integration of the panels to the rest of the body.
Yeah, and that's actually a very, very interesting point that you bring up, because even this door here actually overlaps the actual body.
Yeah, you will not have any air gaps.
Yeah.
You can see the outside.
So there you go. Not only was these things amazingly well built, but this one, 6 months worth of daily driving, and it still looks like this. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Alrighty, I don't really know what else to say about it other than just kind of like stand here in absolute awe of.
Let's go for a ride.
What?
Let's go for a ride.
You shitting me? All right. Yep, go. Amazing. That was actually pretty amazing.
Did it work?
Oh yeah. Amazing, dude.
Not bad, huh?
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an exciting ride.
Yeah, it blew my hair off. Oh man.
Just press and release.
You press the button in, release, and the door opens just like that. Amazing. Gotta watch out for the pipes. When you got shorty shorts on and these pipes, burny burn burn. Daniel,
It's a joy to have this thing.
that was absolutely amazing.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what, honestly, anybody can go out and buy a Ferrari, anybody can go buy a Lamborghini Aventador or a Huracan or what have you. But my God, I mean, and I've ridden in some of those vehicles. This thing, bang for the good God. Words actually, yeah, words fail me. Okay, we're going to head into Jerry's drafting room so you can get an idea of what went into these roadsters. This is where the genius happened. It was literally in this little room. This is where he spent his time, just chilling out. Now this is some of his original, like...
Yeah, he would make models here.
Yeah.
So as I said, this is all the documentation for the whole car. So you've got engine parts, body parts, brake parts, wiring parts, interior. He would do drawings for everything.
That's what he originally... He was a drafting expert,
Right.
wasn't he?
So all the componentry. I mean, little sketches of what the front end would look like, how the Nerf bar should be finished. So this is the end of the Nerf bars. Then we had the trunk lids, little even set screws and hood releases.
Unbelievable.
He would come up with diagrams for how he envisioned the system to work. Everything hand drawn. He would hand it off to us. We would actually make it into CAD drawings, and any of the parts that were needing to be fabricated, we did it right here in house.
Absolutely unbelievable.